Hello, my convicts and convicts. Yes, it is Alec of Convict bringing you guys and gals another tech video. As you all know, my tech videos are generally straight to the point, unless it's something that's important that I need to go over. And today is one of those days. So, without further ado, here we go. So, today I want to talk about something I've been doing a bit of experimentation with. I'm always kind of looking into things and trying to find better ways of doing stuff. So, let's get straight to it. Today, we're going to be talking about jumbo frames and MTU. Jumbo frames is basically sending a much bigger payload than 1500. Mine goes up to 9000, and you can send out that packet as a big payload, and then it'll add the header on there. Apparently, from the description or from the information I've read, jumbo frames can help and make a connection more efficient for actually sending data out and data coming back in. So it can actually help your connection, even though I've heard a lot of people saying or a lot of like information saying that jumbo frames might not be as good because obviously not every device will accept jumbo frames, so on and so forth. But I've not had any issues from playing games, so you could try it out. You can easily turn it off if you feel like you're having any issues. But I actually feel like it's improved rather than obviously taken away. Otherwise, I won't be doing this video. So first of all, what you want to do is you want to come here on the computer and you want to go to the bottom right here. Let me just move my webcam up just a little bit more, because what you need to do is go over to this computer here and you'll see in the Ethernet internet access. You want to right click and you want to open network and internet settings. I will apologize for your Malabar is here as well. So you just go that and then change adapter options, and that'll bring up this screen, which is the Ethernet. Now you can tell what mine's called. Mine's called Ethernet. Make a note, a mental note, that is called Ethernet, because that's something you will need to remember for later. So just right click and go to properties, and that'll bring up the Ethernet properties. Where you want to then go is through each of these, and you want to untick all of them, apart from Protocol 6 and Protocol 4. And I have this one specifically because I use Wireshark and stuff, and I believe that's the driver that it works on. If you do use like printer sharing or anything like that, then obviously you want these to be on. But in general, you can turn everything else off. Once you've done that, then you can go to configure, and that will help to obviously go on to the next part of what we're doing. So if this comes up and it just say you made changes of this connection, do you wish to proceed? And changes will be lost. Now, if you get this, just put yes. If you don't get it, it doesn't matter. I don't know why it sometimes asks me for this even though I've not changed anything. So I just put yes and just let it do whatever it needs to do. So you come over here to the next part and you can see here we've got some options here that we need to go through. So I'm going to quickly briefly go through these, but the main one we want to talk about today is the jumbo packet, which is this one. You will get an option for a couple. I've actually chose the highest one, which is 9,000 bytes, but there is one here for 4,000. For some weird reason, it doesn't say it's 9014 or 4800. It just rounds it off to the nearest thousand. So that'll be 4,000, that'll be 9,000. Choose the highest one. If you've got higher than that, go higher. If you've got much higher than that, go higher. Just keep on going higher. Whichever is your highest, choose that one, and then we can go on with the next phase afterwards. But what I'll do, I'll quickly run through this because I've changed some stuff here, and you may need to follow along with that as well, just to make sure. First of all, go to power management. Make sure that these are off. You don't want to say power because this will obviously cause the adapter to shut off and turn on at times, and this could cause issues. So make sure these are turned off. In terms of these, this is how it wants to go. Most of these you want to have as disabled or off, most of them. But I'll quickly run through. So that's disabled for ARP, PME disabled, EEE off, flow control disabled. This leave as auto detect for gigabits master slave mode. Interrupt moderation disabled, interrupt moderation rate off, checksum off, jumbo packet the highest you've got, large for the 4 and 6 disabled, locally administered address, don't touch this one, link state address disabled, RSS queues, you want to have the highest you've got. So if you've got more than 2, choose more than 2. Whichever is your highest, choose that one. Mine can only go to a maximum of 2. NS offload disabled. This is disabled. It's the disabled one at the top. The timestamp disabled. Receive buffers, you want it to be the highest it can possibly go to. Receive size scrolling disabled. reduce power on, power down disabled, software timestamp disabled, speed and duplex, auto negotiation. I can't even say it. You can choose that, or if you've got 1 gigabit and you know you've got a 1 gigabit, then choose 1 gigabit. Mine's 100 megabit, which is the ZYXL. Unless I use my NetDuma. My NetDuma is 1 gigabit. TCP check some offload for 4 and 6 you want to disable. Transmit buffers, again, the highest it will possibly go to. These disabled, wait, all these last ones are disabled. You want them all off or disabled. And that's all you need to do. So going back to the one in question, like I said, just go make sure the jumbo packet here is on the highest it can possibly go to. Once you've done that, click OK. It may turn off and restart your Ethernet. That's okay. That's just because it's configuring. If it does, then that's absolutely fine. Once it's completed that, then we can go on to the next phase, which is going to where the MTU is and then making changes to that. So what you need to do is go down here to the right to the Windows, right click. Now there's two you can use. You can either use Windows PowerShell or you can use CMD, whichever you've got. If you've got PowerShell and it shows up here, just click on the admin one, click yes to the question, and that'll bring up the PowerShell. PowerShell is in blue. If you want to use CMD, then CMD, you just go to search, CMD, run as administrator, and yes, and that will be the black screen. What is the difference? As far as I'm aware, there's not really a difference between them. They both do the exact same sort of thing, and the next line of codes I'm going to show you works on either platform. So choose whichever is your poison, like Google or Microsoft Edge, or in my case, GX or Projects. You choose whichever. It doesn't really make any difference. So I'm just going to stick with PowerShell. And then what you need to do here is come to the line of text. I'm going to put in the description, and we're going to start with the first one. The first one is going to be netsh interface IPv4 sub interface. So Control and C to copy, and then you want to Control and V to paste. Press Enter, and this will show you your Ethernet and what the MTU size currently is at the moment. So the top one here is from Kaspersky. It's a VPN interface. I don't use it, it's disabled. But the one underneath is the one that I'm currently using. And like I said, you want to make a note of this name, Ethernet, because we're going to be changing something in a moment, and it needs to be under Ethernet. Now, if you have more than these, you may have a Wi-Fi one. This is a wired Ethernet connection. That's why it says Ethernet. If you have a Wi-Fi one, it may say something different. If it's Wi-Fi, make sure to copy the Wi-Fi name down, whatever the Wi-Fi is called. If it's Ethernet and it says Ethernet like it does here, then you want to make a mental note of Ethernet. So once you know what your MTU is and that, then we can move on to the next one. Generally, you probably have it as 1500. If it's you, that's probably what your computer is automatically given is 1500. If you're wanting to follow along and do this, by all means, you can do so. So we need to go on to the next line of code, which is going to be ping. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to copy and it's not going to copy and paste. I'm going to copy and paste. What it's going to do is going to ping, and it's going to tell us if that MTU size is the correct size or not. So that's what we want to check out and try and find what our maximum transmission unit is by running this test. Now you can use tplink.com, or you can change this to anything else. You can have this as google.com or yahoo.com, whatever you want to change it to. It's completely up to you. You could leave it as tplink.com. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference. All it's going to do is ping that server, and if it responds and we get received packets back, then it obviously works. So delete these, and what we want to do is we want to start off at a ballpark figure and see what happens. So we're going to start at 1500, and then we're going to press enter, and it's going to now ping. As you can see, we've got something saying packet needs to be fragmented or DF set. So this means that it's bad, because as you can see, we have lost 4 packets, 100% loss, because it wasn't able to fragment or send out these packets correctly. It sent them out as 1500. So basically what happens in this code up here is it's telling you to ping Google, and it's telling it not to fragment, and that's obviously just telling you to do 4 tests on here, and then how many bytes. So what we need to now do is figure out what will not be fragmented if we do it. So if we copy and paste that same one again, and then go down to 1400. Like I said, you don't need to change the name. You can leave it as TP-Link if you want, which I'll do for this test. Just go down one to 1400. You can see now TP-Link is responding and saying, yes, I've received your packets, and you've received all your packets. They've sent all the packets, and it's giving you the minimum, maximum, and average of what your connection time was to the TP-Link server. So now we know 1400 is good, but we want to keep going up until the point we start hitting the fragmented but DF set again. So what I would suggest doing is maybe going up in, maybe you could try it like this. Try like a max, try 1472 as the next one, which I know mine will work. Okay. So maybe put 1472 in, try that one. If it says fragmented, you want to go down. If it doesn't and it says it's sent and received, you want to go up until you hit that fragmented, then you know the number below is the number that you need, which I do know if I go to 1473, excuse me, it will fragment. So let me show you. So 1473, as you can see, it has fragmented and got 75% loss. It did send out one packet and then the rest it just threw away. So I know 1472 is the maximum I can possibly get to. You could try that, try 1473. If you, like I said, get it fragmented at 1473, you want to go backwards. If you got an okay thing at 1472, sorry, then you want to go up. If you get fragmented, go back, and it's that number before that you want to choose. So in my case, it's 1472. Your case, it might be higher or lower. You need to find out which one it is. Once you've figured out which one it is, then you want to go to the good old trusty calculator here, and you want to calculate a little bit. Now, let me talk a little bit about this briefly. What you need to do now is add a header onto this figure you received. So the 1472, which I know mine is, whatever's yours, then we know this is the MTU without adding a header. Now the header needs to be added on, because what that will basically do is when the information is sent out, the system will know what that packet size was, because it needs to send out some information regarding what that packet is, such as a number, and give it a specific sequence so it knows that this is packet 1, this is packet 2, this is packet 3, so on and so forth. So all you need to do is change it. Now, in general rule, and I think this might be for most fiber connections, you will probably have to check with your provider first, just in case, because even on a fiber line, you may get this. If you don't, then that's absolutely fine. You just want to add 28 onto 1472. So if you add 28, then you'll get 1500. Okay? If you gain 1500, then you're probably in the right spot and you're good to go. If, like I said, it's less than that, then obviously you want to change it to whatever the MTU is, which I'll show you how to do in a moment. If it's higher than that, then obviously you want to go higher. Now, what you want to do is change this in your router, and that will then basically filter out to all your connections on your line, and then obviously help you and give you the correct MTU. However, if you're like me and you're on Pppoe, which is protocol over Ethernet, which is what I'm on, then you will have to do something a little bit different. Now, I'm on a part fiber, so anyone who's probably the UK might be on this kind of one as well, which is Pppoe. You want to actually do the same again, the 1472, if that's what yours is, or whatever yours is, you want to actually add 48 instead, because on the Pppoe connection, the header is actually 48 bytes. It's not 28 bytes. So you need to add that additional 48. And if you press enter, you'll notice I've got 1520. Now, weirdly, some routers won't let you do it. Now, I know that the NetDuma router doesn't allow you to go higher than 1500, which is kind of weird, because I even said to NetDuma, oh, I'm on Pppoe, so I wanted to add 48, but does the NetDoomer not go any higher than 1500? Which I know it doesn't because I did test it and I've been testing it, and they said no. And they didn't respond after that, and because what they basically said is they said no, it only does a maximum of 1500, and they said something else. Can't remember exactly what it said, so I don't want to off quote incorrectly. But I was like, oh, okay. I said, well, I'm on Pppoe, and from the research and from the things I've looked at, I need to add 48 bytes on top of that, so that would make my MTU 1520. But they never responded to that, so I'm assuming either they didn't have an answer or maybe it got lost somewhere. I'm assuming they don't want to answer because generally, to be honest, the NetDuma team are very fast to respond to things. If you say anything to them, they'll instantly respond. Generally within 20 minutes, if not less. So generally, they are very good at responding, but they didn't respond. They've never responded since. I said that to them, so I was like, okay, I don't know then. So there may be some routers out there that can't possibly do it. You can obviously do it here on the PC through your adapter. It's just if you can't do it on your router, then there's not really much else it can help you with in terms of that, apart from if you get another router, modem router. Now, like I said, mine's a ZYXEL. Mine does allow me to go up to 1520. Mine actually lets me go up to 1535 is the maximum that the MTU will go on there. But because my system, when I've run the test, only goes to 1472, obviously I don't go any higher than that because otherwise I'm just fragmenting packets and that's no good because I'm losing all of my packets and they'll be all getting lost. So I need to stick with obviously what my MTU is and what my maximum size is, which is 1472 plus the 48. So once you've figured out that, then like I said, you either put 28 if you're fiber, if you're non-fiber, then obviously if you're Pppoe, then you want to put 1472 plus 48 or whatever your MTU size plus 48. So double check with your provider. Like I said, I don't know about fiber if that has the same thing and has Pppoe. If it does, then obviously you can do the same with that one. If it doesn't, then obviously you just want to add the 28 bytes instead. You may not have problems already, so it might not really matter to you. It might not be something you need to do. If you're on to a point, like I said, where you calculate your MTU and then you add 28 and it is 1500, you're probably on the right setting already. This is just mainly for our Pppoe brothers and sisters who didn't know. But yes, we need to add 48 on top of your MTU to get it to work. So like I said, you can do it on here and you can change it. So one other thing you can do, the last piece, is go here to the bottom and you can make it persistent on your network. So all you do is copy this, go back to this, paste it, and now what we need to do is just change a little bit of this text. So first of all, we want to change the MTU to whatever your MTU is. So whatever your size is plus the header. So mine, in my case, is 1520. And then you want to go to this point. And like I said, what you need to do now is type in the name of what I said before. So remember going back to the adapter setting here, when you went to the adapter and you went to the adapter options and you go to the properties, mine is an Ethernet connection. It says it's Ethernet. What is it under now? There's one you can check on. If you go, which one is that? Well, my network name is there. It says Ethernet. Yours should say whatever it is if it's something different. But generally, it'll be Ethernet is what you need. So once you know what that is, then all you need to do is put in Ethernet, like so. No spaces. You just want the one space between. Oh, locking everything here. So you want it to say netsh interface IPv4 set sub interface Ethernet MTU, whatever your MTU is, store equals persistent, and then press enter and it'll say OK. Once you've done that, if you want to check if it has correctly done it, all you need to do is go back, copy the first line, and then paste that and enter. And it'll tell you that it's changed your MTU to 1500, 1520. That's also another way of checking. Like I said at the beginning, it tells you what it's called. So mine's called Ethernet, as you can see there, 1520, and it says Ethernet. If yours says something different here, you want to change it to whatever it says on there, and that will do it for you. So there you go. That's how you do it. That's how you change it. Let me know what you think. I've actually found it that it has actually helped a lot, has actually improved my connection a lot. I've felt more shots of registering, not those inconsistencies where I've shot 7 times and it's only seemed to have hit 3 times. And it actually seems to make a big difference. Check it out, try it, let me know how you go, and see if it works. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it helps you out. It's been helping me a lot. It's also been helping me if you struggle with streaming and you struggle to stream and game. The jumbo frames might actually solve that as well. So there you go. Anyway, it's the Cap Convict signing out. As always, I salute you, my convicts, and I'll see you in another video. Hopefully you enjoyed and hopefully this helps you out. Bye for now.